We are not live. We are not live. Hello, lovely YouTuber. Hello, lovely Gary.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, darling. I was going to point then because for me, you're down here on the screen. But then when I do that, you're always in a different area. And it looks like I'm talking to my imaginary friend. How are you doing? Who's she talking to? Anyway, hello, lovely Gary. Hello, lovely YouTuber. Lovely to have your company for another tea time tutorial. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the channel where you can get anything you want that is arts and crafty. Want to do some sewing? Have a look at the playlist. We've got amazing sewing videos from some brilliant tutors from all around the world. But if you want to do a bit of arty stuff, then make sure you check out our tea time tutorial list where I think there are 37 videos now. I know. If you're here in 2 years, you were looking going, there's 128 videos. Yes, because you've added to them, because we add every single week. And there's just something for you to play with. The idea is that you step away from the real world, from life and the horrors it can present to us for 25 minutes, and you just do a bit of art. You do not have to be an artist. You do not have to have any amazing materials. Gary and I are so organised that quite often he will tell me about 4.5 minutes before we do this recording what I need. It's so true. And I just grab a bit of paper. I grab some watercolour paints, which my daughter had when she was 3. I grab a paintbrush and that's it. We're off. And then we just have fun. So I do hope that you'll have fun with us today. If you do, please hit the like button. It helps us to go out there in the algorithm. There's a lady that I watch and she always goes, I appreciate the likes. Thank you so much. She probably hasn't got any at that point. But what she's saying is, I appreciate them when you do it. Like now, could you hit the button? Go on. We'll wait. Go on. We'll wait a second. It's just a little there. Just a little. Go on. Ding, they've done it. Lovely. So thank you so much for liking that button because it helps us get out there to other people who may be stressed as well and just need to relax. And we've had people emailing us and leaving comments. Always leave a comment. We always reply to them saying that we have given them joy, Gary. We've given them joy. We've given them some relaxing time. And that's what it's about. So lovely Gary today is going to be helping us to play with, I've just realised I haven't got a lighter, but don't worry, I will magically have one, with a candle, a bit of wax, I do need the candle wax. Oh, am I
You're
just
not going to light
candle?
it.
Exciting. Well, that's good for health and safety. So no lighting required, just a candle. I've got a little tea light. So that's good. So yeah, so just a bit of wax today and some paper and pens. Some paper and paints. So we'll tell you in a second what we're going to be doing then. If you want to go there straight away, look below in the time code because you can click and you'll go straight to the arty section. But if you would like to stick with us for another couple of moments, we always do a bit of mindfulness. It's where I give Gary a quote and we talk about our experiences of life. Maybe we might give you a pearl of wisdom that will help you in your next moment when you are feeling a bit stressed, panicky, or whatever. So if you're going off, have a lovely time. We'll see you there in a minute. But if you're staying with us, so, well, I was just talking to Gary. We often sort of try and bring our real life into it. And I was telling Gary today that my daughter, she wants to be a choreographer and she's going into the dancing industry, which, as we know, any performance related industry is very difficult to get into. And the first thing you have to do, or a lot of people choose to do, is go to a dance school or a drama school. So she's been auditioning and at the moment not getting on very well with those auditions. And it's a shame because she is, and I don't just say this as a mother, she is a great dancer. I also say this as someone who was rejected for 2 years by the top drama schools and then got taken in on the third. So I said to her, it's not about talent, it's about them putting together a collection of people. Yes, you're not very good, you're not going to get in, but she's good. So she's going through this process where, you know, you have to get back up and try again. And I said to Gary, I wonder what words of wisdom I can give her. Well, of course, I'm always on at the universe. I'm always saying, look, the universe is planning it this way. You're going to have a gap year where you're going to meet some amazing people. Or maybe it's not right the year for you to go to college because you need to go a year later when something else is going to happen. It's all about jigsaws. But I saw a quote today. Let me just read it for you. It's from a chap called Brendan Burchard or Brendan Burchard. He's on Instagram and I don't know about other platforms, but I've seen him on Instagram. He's a bit of an inspirational guru. He's very good, actually, gives out some good advice. And he said, life is full of second chances. When they come, be more intentional, courageous, and appreciative. Now, I like this, Gary, because this is the thing with her now, is that when she gets that second chance, which of course she can, because she can reapply next year, you can't just approach it in the same way, can you? You have to approach it in a more intentional way, or perhaps more appreciative, because now you realize how hard it is to get in. And there is a lesson in itself. So sometimes I think when we fail, it is a chance to actually learn and expand and be better the second time. What say you, Mr. Gary?
I completely agree with you, and I used to see this so often with my students doing their art and design, their fashion degree programs, that the carrot is dangled there in front of you, and you go to grab that carrot and it's just out of your reach, and it just like it, but it's still there. That carrot is still there. So what you do is you employ another method. Maybe if you just lean in a little bit more to grab that carrot, you can get it. Or instead of going forwards, what about going in sideways to get it from the side? So there's a lot of different ways. It would just, when that thing is put in front of you and you don't quite grasp it the first time, it really makes you appreciate it that much more. Now, you've got two choices. You do take that, you could take the route and think, well, I didn't get it, I'll just go off in this direction now. But so did you really want it in the first place? But, if you, this other way is that you actually go for it again, and you go with it with meaning, and you go with it with thought. And because you've gone with it a second time, I think it could be the universe, but I just think that you really, really want it, and you've got much more chance of actually getting it. But it doesn't necessarily be the second time. It could be the third time. If you really want something, you really go for it, you'll get it.
But I think also as well, something that is a really very important character trait in life is resilience, because we all know, if anybody's watching this channel and they're over the age of 12, we all know that life is tough. It starts actually in senior school, but life is tough. It hits you in the face sometimes, and sometimes awful tragedies. You have to be resilient. When you do get whatever it is that you have, you will appreciate it a bit more, perhaps cherish it, work harder at it, because you know how hard it was to get there. But for people who have maybe got in the first time, and then they come out and then they start going for auditions and they're rejected, and they've never experienced rejection, that's going to be a very hard lesson. But when you've already experienced some rejection and then you get some success, you're going to get rejection again. When you get that rejection, you'll be able to go, I've been here before. I know what I need to do. I need to approach it from a different angle, or I just need to try again, or it doesn't matter because I'll get this job. That's what you're learning. So there is a lesson in, I was going to say failure, but I don't believe we ever fail unless we stop trying 100% and move on. Then you can say, do you know something? I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried, and I didn't get it, and now I'm walking away from it. So I did fail in that respect. But still, I don't think you failed, because you will have learned lessons along the way. So is there such a thing as failure? I'm not sure there is, actually. I think failure is a silly word. I don't think it should exist.
Maybe there's something a little bit further down the line that it is. But so you've got to read the universe, or what's happening to you. Read that, okay, 3 times I'm lucky. Okay, right, I'm going to sit back and see what else comes along. But at least you've given it 3 times, and you've read the subtext, which is sit back, something else better's coming in.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't succeed at first, try, and maybe try again. And that's all you can do in life. You just got to keep trying. Like we do every week, lovely Gary, on the YouTube channel. One day it's not going to say 1.5K, it's going to say 1.5 million YouTube subscribers. I'm manifesting it. We might be 96 by then, but we'll do it before we hit that other part of life. Anyway, so shall we do some arty stuff? Let's do it. So okay. I'll hand it over to you, my lovely Gary.
Okay, I'll put my tea out the way. Get the tea out the way. So what we're going to do today is, and I know we like a good doodle, and yes. I'm going to call this assemble doodles. Ooh. So we're going to assemble. So this is what we're going to create. It's instead of like putting the doodle, just doodling away, we're going to cut up our doodles and we're going to reassemble them. But we're going to do them in, so we're going to make 2 doodles and then we're going to cut them up and then we're going to place them like this. So what do you need? Well, you need some paper. So let me just get these little frame bits out of the way. So we need some paper. I'll show you how to create something like that. Any paper really, but obviously if you've got some nice quality, either the best quality would be like a mixed media paper or an acrylic, like acrylic based paint paper or watercolor paper. That would be fantastic. But you know, that first one that I've done, that's just on ordinary cartridge paper, just ordinary art cartridge paper. That just as well. I would say now you can work any size you want to, but I'm going to say work in 2 lots of A4. One of those A4, so put one of them, you're going to keep, that's for mounting, that's for sticking down and keeping clean. Put that to the side. One of the A4 pieces, you're going to divide in 2. So you're just going to fold it in half and cut it. So you've got 2 pieces. So that's the paper. What materials have you got at home? What could you use? So I'm using a couple of my watercolor palettes like that. I'll talk about color in a minute. I've got one of my marker pens, a little black marker pen. I've got a pencil that I'm going to use, like making marks, a couple of felt tips that are within the colours that I'm going to use. I've got some scissors. I've got a candle. So earlier on, we talked about a candle. We do not need to light this candle. It's a brand new candle. We're going to use this candle to make marks with. So we're going to use a candle. What else? I've got my paintbrushes. I've got paintbrushes. I've got all sorts of paintbrushes. I've got a bigger paintbrushes and a couple of small ones, but whatever you've got to hand, you can use for this project. So I'm going to just put those to one side. Remember, I always have a pot for dirty water and a pot for clean water. So I've got those 2 there. Glue sticks. So a couple of glue, or a glue stick. I've only got a couple here because one of them's running out. So I just know that's going to run out. So I'm ready with my next one next to me. I think that's about it. Some kitchen roll just in case of accidents, but that if we have an accident, it'll be fine. We'll make it purposeful and it's all part of the art experience. So,
Hairdryer?
Right.
Hairdryer?
What's that, Rachel?
A hairdryer.
A hairdryer. Yes. Hairdryer. Only because we're going to speed up the process. If you haven't got a hairdryer near, just give yourself a bit of time for things to dry in between and then you go back to it. So it's entirely how you like to work, but I do like to have a hairdryer just because it makes the process quicker. Okay, Rachel, have you got those things together? Are you there with me?
Yes, and I was just going to say, cuddly toy. Do you remember on the conveyor belt? And that was a generation game, and they used to have to remember what had gone down the conveyor belt. There was always a cuddly toy.
Exactly, and for this project, if you haven't got loads of colours at hand, you can, again, like always, you could use some very strong instant coffee, really strong, also it looks like ink, or you could use ink. If you've got a little pot of ink in the drawer, use some ink. The only thing that probably wouldn't work would be for this project would be thick acrylic paints or oil paints. Keep them away unless you can really water down your acrylic paint so it's quite nice and watery, bright colours. Now, colour, let's go to colour. Now, if I just show you the example, okay, I have used in this shades of blue with a touch of sort of an ochre mustard colour and orange. That's my colour palette for this. So I explain that. That's because orange is the complementary colour to blue. So whoever you're out there, whatever colour's your favourite, maybe blue for a boy. I love blue. It could be pink for a girl. So if it's pink for a girl, it's going to be shades of red and pink, and it's going to be olive colours, olive greens. That olive green is its complementary colour. If you're going to do, let's think of another one, purple. If you really, really like purple, the complementary colour to purples and all shades lilac is yellow. So they're the 2 things. So it's shades of, and then add in your complementary colour. But just play with colour. Don't get too hooked up in it. Just have a go. If you like all the colours of the rainbow, well, then go for it. You know, that's what I would say. So anyway, right. So I've got 2 pieces of paper, and we're going to do 2 sort of almost 2 different colourway or different processes on each one, which is only because we can experiment on these. Think about doing the paint or the doodle experiment sort of in the middle. It doesn't matter if it goes to the edges, but it'd be nice if you just sort of worked in the middle and you had some white edges down around the top and down the side. But don't worry if it goes, it's going to bleed into all sorts of, like, you know, go across it. So do not worry. Right. So let's put that one up there. Let's just do this one first of all. So this one, first of all, is we're going to use the wax crayon straight away. You've got a little tea light there, Rachel, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
So if you think like you're drawing, excuse me, if you're going to draw with it, you're going to like scribble all over the, so I'm just scribbling and I'm rubbing quite hard and I'm just leaving the wax over the paper. So I'm just giving it like a scribble. At the moment, you can't see where the wax is. So that should be plenty, Rachel. That is plenty. Right.
Yep.
Now with some clean water and a big paintbrush or a sponge or just some clean water, just put some water over the top of that paper. And you'll already see that where the wax is, the water isn't it's not touching. And then I'm going to get some really nice, and you want to get your paints, so you want to get your paints really quite wet. So you're really going to get them really quite wet, and you're just going to just sort of streak it across with the paintbrush. So you're just going to pick up some really nice color and you're just going to streak it across. I've got a really nice color of blue here. And then the next color is my complementary color. So these are my base colors to start with. And my complementary color is going to be this real sort of, oh, lovely. It's going to be a little sort of ochre yellow. So leave some spaces, Rachel. So make sure there's some white in there in between, as well as where the wax resist is. And then I can just put on my yellow. And I'm just going to dab in my complementary color. So, Rachel, what's your complementary color going to be? You're putting blue in against that, are you?
Shall I? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I nearly did. I nearly did it again. I nearly did my into my tea. Oh, it's doing it.
It's so easy done. So easy done.
Right. So just in the middle. Oh, come on.
Yeah, just dab it in. If you've got any zones, just put loads of wet paint in there. So let it dribble, let it bleed, let it intermingle. That's it. Lovely. And just go into zones. So you can see I've just gone in like little zones and little places where there's little gaps.
I see.
Super. That should be all right. Lovely. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want to overwork it. So that's our first day. We're going to just move that one to one side. All right. So just going to move that to one side.
Why do your paints always look so brightly coloured and mine don't? Oh, God.
Other people say that. I do use these watercolors. They're probably they're like an intense color. They're advertised as an intense color. And what we could do is I could put a link to the brand in the underneath. So if anyone does want to buy, we'll do that so that people might like to, to purchase them as well. So yeah, good idea. Right, so this one, so the blank page, this time, no wax yet, okay? But this one is we're just going to wet the page with the brush so that the paint sort of like bleeds a little bit.
Yeah.
When we put it on. And then what we're going to do is we're then going to stick to similar colors. So if you can find another, like a blue color, you can use blue, and you're going to use orange as well. So you can use a blue and an orange, and you can just intermingle those colors again. So I'm just touching. Can you see I just touch the page with my brush, and then I can add another like really quite watery. I don't mind if the paint, the paint in the palette gets quite wet, and then I just let it bleed in like so. So I'm not going to overwork that, but I am going to, while it's there, that's nice, I'm going to add a nice little bit of orange into there as well. So I'm going to just add in. So I'm just tickling the page while it's wet, and I'm just adding a little bit of orange. And the colors will sort of intermingle. You'll have other colors start to evolve and things like that. There you are. I'm quite happy with that. These ones are very intense today.
They are.
They are. I'm getting very nice painted, arty hands. Look at that. That is an arty hand, a nice coloured hand.
Yeah, I've just got paint on my keyboard.
Oh, have you? Oh dear.
Yes.
That looks all right. Right. Leave some white spaces, Rachel. That's okay. That looks nice.
All right.
So now at this stage, we're going to dry our work. So it's time to get the hairdryer out for the first time. So we're just going to dry our work. Get that nice and dry. Okay, are you dried?
I'm dry.
Oh, dried. So you can see you've got two very different. You've got one where you've got where you can see where the wax went, and the other one is just the ordinary ones where you haven't. So let's first of all let's go back. Let's go back to this one which has got no wax on it at all. What we're going to do is we're going to now use the wax to actually block off areas so that we're going to then paint one more layer over the top so we can add more color over the top. So rub in, you could rub squares, you can still do your you know, crazy sort of squiggle over the top, but you can do like zones now with wax on them like that. So I've just sort of done what I've done is sort of, and you can't really see where you go. You just have to sort of guess that you have got some wax on there, like so. Now you can pick up the, sort of a biggish brush, and you can wipe some more color over the top. So it might be another tone of your base color. So if you can find another tone, maybe orange, Rachel. Is there a really nice orange, dark orange color there for you? Oh.
No, I was going, oh, so I just put blue into my orange. All right. We can rebuild. Right, so I'm just chucking this all over it, am I?
Yeah, just chuck it, just put it all over it. That's it. And what you'll find is where your wax is not going to, it's going to, you're going to have a coat of paint over, but where the wax is, the true color should start coming through. So I'll do it with another bit of color on again. Has it come? Is it done the job?
Yeah.
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 That's okay. Right. So as you can see on mine, if I show you mine, I've got areas where there's that other color blue and the orange is really showing through, whereas the bits that weren't covered in wax, the blue's gone over the top of the orange and slightly muted that. So that one's a much more sort of like, it's got different tones to it as well. So that's allowed to be dried for a minute. We can leave that one to dry. Okay. Let's go back to the one with wax on. Now we can start picking up we can pick up some other implements. So we can use a pen, so a black pen. Or what we could do is in some of these sort of like areas, we could like put some marks. So we can do a repeat mark. I'm doing like little circles in one area. I could do like little U shapes around another one. And I'm just going to, where I think I want pattern, I'm going to add pattern with my black pen. So I'm just going to go around things and just add pattern. I can add zigzaggy lines through it as well, remembering that you can just do whatever you want to do. I might pick up a pencil and then I might do like round squiggle circles. Like that. I quite like the black marker pen, makes quite nice marks. So I'm going to just continue with circles and dots. I could make like little straight lines going through it as well. That's it. So think about the shapes that you can see. I like your little wigwam shapes. Maybe your little wigwam shapes have little, like, you can almost like do little stars above there or something like that, Rachel, couldn't you? So yes, add something to that.
Yeah, that's a nice idea. I feel like singing now. Starry, starry night.
Who sung that? Is it John Denver?
No.
Or no? No.
Paint your wagons. We
need someone to. We're going to have to add it into the comments because we really haven't got a clue about it, about music. I could do art. I've got no idea about music.
Oh, I'm not bad on my music, but I don't know that. I'm going to Google it. Hang on, because last week we Googled The Cure, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right. Hang on, let's just Google this. Who sings Starry, Starry? I'm going to know it as soon as it pops up. Yeah, it's called Vincent, and it's by Don McLean.
Oh, Don McLean, yeah.
Don McLean, yeah. Beautiful song, actually.
It's really lovely, really nice. So this one, for this one, I've just added a couple of things. I've done like zigzaggy lines across it. I've done little round circles, little U shapes, little like stitches type things across my zigzags running across the page. And I've done just using my spiral. So I've had a real good scribble on that one. I've done layering. I've got lots of layering going on that one. Okay, that looks all right, Rachel. That's right. Have you got another? I'll tell you what. Have you got a coloured felt tip or a pencil near you at the moment?
Yes.
So just do just big circles across over everything,
Really?
layering up. Yeah, over. That's it. Over everything. Lovely. There you go. Wonderful.
Okay.
Doesn't that feel good? Like you've done something and then you've layered up and you've done a scribble, like, you know, just very rough circles over the top. And that's what I want to get you to do. I want you to become much more relaxed and much more happy. So like, yes, I want to make this responsive mark on this page. So that's what you've done. Right. That looks beautiful. Let's put that one to one side. So that one's, I think, it's really done. We can go back to the other one. What can we do on this one? So again, we can do some more responsive marks, but maybe we can do it across. So I'm going to use my felt tips this time. So I'm going to do like, maybe just do crosses. It's funny, where the wax is, you'll find that it will resist, almost like won't necessarily pick up any of marks until you go on somewhere where there's no wax at all. Again, I might use just my pencil lines, just pencil across it. Oh, I've got my favorite, my Posca pen, which again, I know people get fed up of me probably saying, oh, I've got my Posca pen, but I do like a Posca pen because it's like acrylic paint in a little paint, in a pencil really, or a felt tip, but it's rather than being a felt tip, it's acrylic paint. So quite often it will go over lots of layers, which is really quite nice.
Yeah, I'd like to get one of those. They do look fun to work with.
Yes, and you can get them in different colours as well, which is quite nice.
And how do you spell it? Posca?
Yeah, Posca, Posca, Posca pen. And they're like little, it's acrylic paint in a felt tip, like sort of system. The paint's in there, and you have to shake it up to get the paint to come down to the nib, and then it just starts to come down, you know, as you work it into the, you know, as you push the little nib down. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Just gonna do some like little spirals in here. And again, where there's wax, it doesn't necessarily pick up. So, and again, if you get wax, say you've got like a sort of a marker pen, and it seems to like it's stopped working, it's that the wax is on the nib. So just pull it off with your fingers, and then the wax will come off. But just work on that. I might do a little bit more. Is it going through? Yeah.
It's good.
How brave have you been, Rachel? Have you made some dramatic marks across your page?
I haven't yet. I'm going, woo! I'm going in.
You're going in. You're making some marks. Brilliant. Okay, right. We're nearly there. Now, I think we're just going to finish with one of my favourite things to do. And what's that? That's having a little bit, just flicking a little bit of paint over to on the pages. So remembering what your strongest colour was, or your accent colour is. For me, it's a light orange. So I'm going to do a little bit of orange on this lighter one up here. I'm just going to flick a little bit of orange paint just to add a little bit. Now, this is probably the time when I realise that I'm now going to have to redecorate the studio because I've managed to flick it up the wall.
I've got a little white pen holder, and it's now speckled. I might just all leave it here though, in memory of Gary Mills.
And then the other one, I think I'm going to just add get that nice intense blue, and just maybe just tap a little bit more of the inky blue colour. All right. One more blast with the hairdryer. Just give that one more little blast, just to make sure it's really, really dry.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, right. All dried?
Right.
All dried. Okay, right. So now's the time to start. We're going to cut them up and we're going to assemble them on our clean piece of paper.
Okay.
The thing is, if you were to look at the page and start cutting it up, I think we would be distracted by the imagery. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the two lots together and we're going to put them face to face like that, so we can't see them like so. So we're going to go one on top of the other.
Yeah.
Then, so holding them like this with your scissors, so the one's on top of the other.
Yeah.
We're going to just cut, not necessarily straight lines. We're just going to slightly curved lines. And we're going to just cut them and we're going to let them just fall onto the table. So slightly, all haphazard lines, maybe an inch wide, 2 centimeters wide in places, but then narrower in others. Okay. And then we're going to lay them out in front of us. We've got them all the pieces in front of us. And you will see, because you've had two different pieces of paper to work on, you'll see that they are very different. Once you've cut them all up, they all look very different next to each other. Yes, perfect. And then you start to assemble on a nice piece of paper. So I would say, I would actually just go for it. Pick your first one, get your glue stick and just stick it down. So we're looking at the piece of work and you'll see now that you'll really appreciate just in that thin slither, all the work, how the colors work together, how the little marks suddenly appear. You might have half a mark, you might not have the whole mark. And it all starts to become a little bit more abstract and less of a mess, or sort of like a little bit of a sort of like, well, what's that all about? To looking a bit more purposeful, like, that's what that person was trying to achieve. So when you put them back together, the white, you have white in between as well. So you don't need to layer them up, Rachel, like that. Move that one down slightly so they're not touching. So they can touch just, whoop. That's it. Perfect. And I'm sort of working alternate. I'm not even really looking. I'm working with the alternate colours. So I'm doing one from one page, one from another. And you might find that you might have some, well, you'll probably have some left over that you won't use, but you can use them in another project possibly.
Look at me, Speedy Gonzalez. I've done it already.
Have you got to the bottom, Rachel?
Yes.
What are you like? Well done.
I just went for it.
I'm just
going to let me play. I was like, right, okay, I'm going to go for it then. Love it.
I've got just a couple more to go.
Shame, I'd like to add that.
I'm going to put that glue down. And obviously, we're doing this quite quickly. You take your time with your gluing, because if you don't get the glue necessarily all covered, you will find, especially with the thicker pieces of paper, they will lift off. Now, if you want to, say, for instance, that you want something which is what they call archivable, which means it lasts much longer, is that you could actually, use really good, strong glue. You could even stick it all down, and then you could use a varnish over the top to actually get it to stick if you feel, oh, I think I might actually frame this piece. And so that is possible to do. I might be able to get, I can get one more bit in at the bottom there. If I slightly just push that up, I've managed to get one more piece in. Well, there you go. Right, there we are. Move those bits out of the way. Rachel, get yours in frame. Lovely. Wonderful.
Higher.
I'm going to just put so if I was going to frame it, that looks nice. So you can now see that you've got all those marks look so different together, and they become much more abstract and much more, there you are. Done. Lovely. Really good
pieces of work.
Yes.
Interesting. And it's interesting what you see. You see, yours is very much, to me, I see underwater.
Yes.
Whereas mine, I see woods and trees and sort of landscapes like that, maybe even like a desert landscape, you know, where
Exactly. Yeah,
yours
I
is
completely
definitely a
agree with
water
that.
world. Yeah.
I can, yeah. Well, mine, maybe you can even imagine like tropical fish tank, tropical fish, something like that, where yours is definitely more like an arid
Yeah.
landscape, you know, savanna type thing like that, because of the colors, and the colors that you've used are much more sort of like softer and duskier, where mine are quite bright and zingy. So, yeah, brilliant.
And I have to
Really
say
good.
that looking at this one, this is almost like I've cut it out from a professionally painted, you know, lovely picture of trees and desert in the background. Or not trees, there won't be trees in a desert, but you know, like this is like tent poles. There's like a tent down here, and you've got like a desert behind you. And I cut it from a painting. I'd be really pleased with that. I've done that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yay.
Hurrah! So it does. So the process is you can then start to look into it like you are. So once you've assembled it, then you might see emotions, feelings, aspects of nature within these strips as they're together, and think, now that's how they make that sort of savanna landscape when they're doing a landscape painting. Oh, that's how they do that sort of graphical tropical fish and under the sea world when they're using those colors. So again, apart from just spending that time having completely lost yourself and all the worries of the world, you've actually created a piece of a spontaneous and assembled artwork. Right, have you got arty fingers? I want to see arty fingers. Arty
Not bad.
fingers.
Yeah.
Well, you better not be too. That's good. Arty fingers.
Yeah.
That's going to be our new strap line.
Yeah.
Arty fingers.
Arty fingers. There they are. Look, they are.
Brilliant. They are fabulous.
Love it. Again, you know where it's going.
Uh-oh, we need space. We need more space.
We do. We need the theme music. Do 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 do.
And this is a picture by Rachel, age blah, 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 and she's
Age 36.
age 36.
Stop laughing too hard. 36 a few years ago. Quite a few years ago. Almost switched the numbers the way I'm going. Anyway, there's my glasses to prove my age. Right. Wasn't that fun? If it was, please hit the like. No, what did I do? What am I putting into people's brains there?
What?
No. Hit that one. Because you never know, if you do that, it might just hit like Gary's picture there, a little whoop in the sea, and then somebody else will come across the video and it will change their day. You could, in effect, change someone's day by just hitting the like button. You don't know, do you? So we would love it if you would. Of course, I will say, if you do want to buy us a coffee to donate to the channel, please do, because we do have to buy Pritt Stick. At the moment, we're not making a penny from YouTube, but we do it for the love, for the joy. But it was nice when someone bought us a coffee once. I think we had about 10 in our account at once. It was like winning the lottery. So, lovely YouTuber, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Gary, as always, for coming up with the goods. Another lovely exercise. That was great fun, though. Just using the wax resist, and it's just about relaxing, isn't it? It's just about relaxing and having fun. So yes, I really enjoyed that. And there will be another tea time tutorial to go into the list, which will be next Friday. We post every Friday here on the channel, so you're always guaranteed of some new content. Hit the like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, and then you'll know. And when you know, you know. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Right, Gary, we're going. So we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.